Welcome to the Mind Your Business podcast. Sit back and relax as Shelley and I mind your business about families, holidays, and boundaries.
So, what is our discussion about today?
Well, the holidays are coming up.
Holiday in the park, just like the 4th of July. Is that how that goes? I don't even know.
I don't know what song you're singing, but I'll sing along.
That was sad. That made me old. So, what would be the most important thing when it comes to the holidays? There are going to be several things to discuss in that. So, one thing, of course, that's at the forefront of my mind, of course, is grief.
Mm-hmm.
People are going through grief. And so sometimes what we notice with that is we don't know whether to be normal and have normal things. We don't know if we should change it all up when that person is missing. We don't know if it's a very confusing time, I think, for people when they've lost someone, especially when it's the firsts.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know what to do with that. So I think navigating grief is an important topic. I think that we can talk about a little bit here. And then boundaries, the boundaries that we set with our families. Families can be very triggering.
Well, I would say, I have a perfect family. So,
yeah, me too.
But
of course they're
I
perfect.
just choose violence.
Well, that's an option. It's an option. It's an option. And some people will actually do that. So
probably shouldn't joke about that.
No, but I think for us, it is important to recognize boundaries. And listen, I'm not someone who goes around saying boundaries, 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 because I think we get carried away with boundaries. You know how
I don't ever do that.
You don't?
I did it this morning.
You did it to me this morning. Even I was like, I'm going to set a boundary about that. And I'm like, okay, girl, go ahead and make some rules. Make yourself some rules. Get yourself some boundaries. So what's the difference between boundaries and walls? We've talked about that. So we already kind of know what that is. And boundaries really are just, this is where, as far as I can go in the relationship with you, to stay in the relationship with you.
Yeah, it's all about staying in the relationship.
Absolutely.
And maintaining a relationship, but you get to decide how much of yourself you're going to share with that person, and also how much crap you're going to receive.
I don't think we actually get to decide that part, but we do.
But we do, because we get to say, I'm not taking that crap and I'm leaving.
Yeah, okay, I mean, that's fair. Okay, I was like...
I don't have to receive it. They can be throwing it, but I don't have to receive it.
You don't have to receive it. I was like, whoa.
They be slinging that crap.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing in that is sometimes we want to make a bunch of rules because we are not comfortable with ourselves making rules in the moment. Or saying, hey, that bothers me. I don't like that.
So you want to preemptively put a boundary there.
Yeah, and sometimes we need to.
Yeah.
Sometimes history dictates that.
Yeah.
You know, if that has happened to me in the past, then I'm going to be much less likely to walk into that without some preparation.
Yeah. Like
and
if you
when
know
we should.
Your brother is going to hit you every time he sees you.
Dang.
You can say like, hey,
damn,
that's a preemptive boundary.
Yeah.
But in the moment, if he's never hit me, and then he does, I can say, like, hey, I didn't care for that. Let's not do that again.
Yeah, I don't want that. I'm good with not having that in my life.
So everyone wants to establish to protect so that they don't have to have conflict.
That's it. To me, that's where boundaries get icky.
Yeah.
When they are an avoidance of conflict.
Yeah.
Because sometimes conflict is inevitable.
Yeah.
You have to have it.
Yeah.
And should we seek it? Of course not. But I do think sometimes you have to have a conflictual relation. Conflict builds relationships. That's the misnomer.
Yeah.
If you are in conflict with someone and you work through it in a healthy way, it builds intimacy.
You usually walk away feeling, hopefully, if it's a healthy interaction, heard, understood, and more connected to that person.
Absolutely. Because you've just been through something
Uncomfortable together.
Uncomfortable. Yeah. And that's a big reason why we don't say those things sometimes. So let's just do a scenario here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We go to our family and our family is very triggering to us emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who is responsible for our triggers first and foremost?
We are.
We get to decide what we do with those things. We can't control all the things, you know. So what we always tell people is sometimes you need to limit your time.
Mm-hmm.
What are some keys to maintaining good boundaries for yourself to protect your own peace and your own mental health? Because you do have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You are in charge of that, right? Mm-hmm. So sometimes it's setting the boundary of, I'll stay at a hotel instead of your home.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel good.
How does that land?
Continually staying with them.
It's hard. It's hard. It's difficult. But maybe you found that we can do better if we're not with each other and on top of each other all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's saying, I can't contribute money in this way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I can do, this is what I am able to contribute.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's time.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's space. I think all of those things are very, very important to think about as you go through these holiday season. Because listen, depression is up, anxiety is up, the world is in a bit of chaos, and we're all trying to navigate it. Mm-hmm. Oh, there's going to be another thing that comes up this year.
You know what I say? Family is like fish. They're good for 3 days, and then you got to throw them out.
Fair.
3 days is usually a good limit on family time.
Yeah.
Even if you have a healthy family.
Even if you have because adults living with adults does not work very well.
Right.
Because you have a way of being in your home and a way of being in the world that other people aren't used to.
And you're out of your routine and your comfort.
Mm-hmm.
So you're already feeling
like
on
stinky
edge.
fish. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's throw 'em out.
That's just my rule of like 3 days. We hit 4, I'm like pulling my hair out. So that's a boundary for me.
Well,
3 days.
That's your capacity.
Mm-hmm.
That's your limit on that. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I always tell people I don't have a lot of hard and fast boundaries. Like they stay that exact way. Mm-hmm. I am very flexible in my boundaries because I go, some days I am at capacity and I can't go further than this.
Yeah.
So I move it. But I communicate that I move it.
That's a good thing to say because especially the season that you're going through with grief.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You might have a lot of capacity for your family, but not as much for friends. And so friends mm-hmm. might be wanting to get together and do things. And you're like, listen, I can't this year.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Sometimes the family is the intimate part that's the missing piece. Yeah. And so that's harder. Doesn't mean it's mm-hmm. not necessary, but it's harder. You know, you're noticing the missing person more. Mm-hmm. You're noticing what they contributed to the family. So yeah, I think you're right. I think it's both ways.
So it's like kind of like sit down and take an inventory of like if you're going to be traveling
mm-hmm.
to family, mm-hmm. okay, where are we at emotionally? Where are we at in our marriage? Where are we at with our kids? Where are we at with other members of the family?
Mm-hmm.
What do we have the capacity for financially too?
Mm-hmm.
Like, can we afford to fly out? Can we do mm-hmm. these things? And sometimes you have to make hard decisions of like, maybe we can't.
Maybe we can't. And maybe this has to be a different kind of year this year. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I don't think we have to always have hard and fast rules. Now, with some people we do. Mm-hmm. Because they want to encroach on our boundary.
They want to knock down that fence.
Yep. Have you ever heard the saying, neighbor, hold on, what is it? Mm-hmm. Good fences make for good neighbors. Mm-hmm. Is that not true? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, I always tell my people, it is more like a fence. A boundary is more like a fence. When you are making rules and regulations, it's more like a wall. There's no one getting in. There's no way of breaking through that.
Yeah.
But with fences, there's gates.
Yeah.
You can let in what you want to let in.
That's what I say too with like rigid and porous boundaries is like, you feel it like the first boundary is mm-hmm. like that garden picket fence. Mm. You can kind of step over it. You can kind of,
well, not me, I trip over those.
Yeah. But like there's room.
Yes.
There's movement. And if they're continually trampling the flowers on the other mm-hmm. side, you have to put up that 8-foot privacy fence. Mm-hmm. You know, there's still a gate. Mm-hmm. You can still come and go. Mm-hmm. but there's just a little bit, you don't get to come over as easily.
Yeah.
And it's for protection of my flowers and our relationship, because you keep trampling my flowers, I'll be mad.
I still want you. I still want you in the backyard.
Yeah.
I still want you in the backyard, but I don't want you stomping my flowers.
And then there are
killing my joy.
Cement walls that you do have to put up with some people, because they are that difficult, I guess, or have continually knocked down your 8-foot fence, not just come in or jumped over it, but knocked it down. It is time to put the cement wall up.
I'm like, ouch.
I don't care if it's against the HOA.
Yeah, sorry.
It's a cement wall.
Sorry. The car ran into the cement wall. Yeah, I mean, that's what happens. And I think it's good for us to take those mental evaluations of ourselves. I think sometimes we overanalyze. We go, oh, I'm thinking way too much about this. Just go and be, and learn how to go and be flexible in it. But also have some things, if you're struggling, especially at this time of year, with boundaries, with trying to use your voice and having healthy conversations. I hate to say this, and this is probably not going to land well in some arenas, but I think what we have to do is say sometimes a healthy conversation is just between us and ourselves.
Yeah.
It's not really between two people sometimes.
You do not have to have a conversation with everybody about a boundary.
No, you don't.
It's like, I'm just not going to take that anymore. So I'm going to remove myself. Like, again, you have control over no one but yourself. And so not everything warrants a conversation.
No, I do think there has to have been some type of communication about those things at times. But I can promise you, most people have done that to death. Most people have said, that bothers me, I don't like that. Or they respond negatively and no one hears them. So I do think the conversation has probably been had.
Oh, yeah. It probably has been had. And at some point, if it hasn't, and you're just like, I'm not taking this anymore, this year I'm not going to do it, you don't have to preemptively say it to them.
No.
You just have to you have to know when you need to walk away.
Yes.
And then if they ask, we can have a conversation at a later date. Let's
table that today.
Doesn't need to be on Christmas. Doesn't need to be at Christmas dinner.
Doesn't need to be on Christmas. Well, and that's another thing. How do we set boundaries with the conversations that we do have? Sometimes we have to just say, I think this is a valid conversation, but it is not for today. Maybe we all need to process that you're feeling this way, and maybe we need to talk about that later. Sometimes it's just like, why can't just today be today? We don't have to overanalyze this. How about we do that tomorrow when everybody's, not tired from the events and ready to hear and listen? It's also important that we learn to listen.
And I think it's important that we learn to laugh a little bit, because have you ever seen
funny. Things are funny.
There's a girl on TikTok or Instagram, whatever, they're the same thing. But she'll like narrate her family vacations like it's a movie trailer.
Oh, that's funny.
Or like a reality show.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, that is such a good, it's just like
and
videoing.
Shelley brings in the turkey with much resentment.
Yeah. And then you hear them like bickering and stuff. And it's just like, what a good perspective too of like, this isn't going to stop with them, and I don't have control over them. But I'm going to find humor in it because they're ridiculous.
Well, and learning to laugh about things, I will say, and we know from the other podcast, my family is sort of known for that. We laugh about a lot of things. My mom was the queen of that. And sometimes maybe we're inappropriate with it. We can't help that. But a lot of times it was, this isn't that serious. This isn't that serious. You know what I mean? This isn't. I mean, the fact that you left your towel in the bathroom floor is probably not that serious.
Yeah.
You don't live with me. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, I think it's learning to navigate those things in a healthy way. And the healthy way really just is communication. But it's me communicating what I actually feel and not trying to fawn. Fawning we know is people pleasing and not trying to make it just okay. We do that too. Now, maybe for the day you make it okay. But I don't think that's the way to deal with those conflicts. We have to invite the uncomfortable.
And if somebody's just that awful, let's say that. Let's say Aunt Sally is.
Don't talk about my Aunt Sally.
Do you have an Aunt Sally? I'm like, crap.
I'm just messing. No, I don't.
But you've had conversations and you've said, I don't want to talk about that right now. And she will not stop hounding you about your kids or your marriage or
when you going to have a baby.
When you going to have that baby or your business or
when you
whatever.
get married.
She just doesn't stop.
Yeah, actually, Misty, I always take her name out, sorry. My friend and I went to Grapevine last weekend, and we were Christmas shopping, and there was a shirt, and it says, "Yes, I'm still single."
Yeah, just wear it.
And I wanted to wear it. Now, I don't get asked that a lot at my house. I really don't, because people don't care anymore. They're like, whatever. She was married a long time. She doesn't have to do that again.
She gets the privilege of freedom.
She gets the pass. But it is a funny one. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, it's great to hear those things. But sometimes we are offensive and people are not ready to share where they are with you.
Yeah.
How about we just have fun today?
Yeah. But what are you going to tell Aunt Sally?
Well, we're going to tell Aunt Sally to mind her own business.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, that would be awesome, actually.
It would be good.
I know. I growing up probably had a tendency to be more like that. Really. I was a big people pleaser. But when it came to certain obnoxious things, I was like, I'm not having it. I'm not having that. I'm going to have to call that out. And so sometimes I get in trouble for that, which sometimes I needed to get in trouble for that. But I say my daughter's a lot like that too. She's more apt to go, yeah, I don't like that. I'm not doing that.
Like that.
Not for me. None for me, thank you. You know? And so I think I taught her to have that voice, but in a reasonable, respectful way.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it always needs to be reasonable and respectful. And what I was getting at earlier with Aunt Sally here, Aunt Sally has her own stuff. And so sometimes I look at that and how I deal with it is with curiosity. I'm just curious. Wow, she's really doing that again. You know, instead of being so personally offended by it, I'm more like, wow, I'm observing now. I don't have to join her. I don't have to answer her.
Just stare at her blank slate.
Yeah.
See, this is probably why I'm still single.
Well, if you do a head tilt,
that's peculiar.
Confusion works with people. Confusion, gets them going, oh, she's confused by me. Just a little head tilt works.
Like
and be curious. And it doesn't mean sometimes we don't have to shut Aunt Sally down. You know what I mean?
Shut her down.
Shut her down.
That's true.
Okay. But I think most of the time we need to look at it as that's just how she's going to do life. But I don't have to join in.
Yeah.
And I can still be kind.
What about, got another scenario for you. We have clients, people, okay, let's say a generation, because that's the thing right now. We have a generation of millennials going to therapy.
Yeah.
And wanting to do it right for their immediate family and their marriage and their kids and parent differently and break generational trauma, all the things. And they're working through it.
Yeah.
And
tough.
they have to go be with these people that maybe unintentionally, it could be very unintentional, but
it's true.
Their generational stuff has trickled down. And so now their eyes are being opened to that wasn't normal. That wasn't okay. That wasn't,
We could have done better.
Yeah.
They could have done better.
They're in the midst of the nitty gritty and the trauma work or the, relational work, counseling work. How do they?
That's an excellent question. I think one thing that I've noticed is I even went through that in other scenarios. Let's not say my family, but other scenarios. And you are very, very raw to it. But I always say your internal stuff sometimes needs to just be internal.
As Lola says.
Oh, yeah. What'd she tell me that day? Yeah.
Shelley, that's an inside thought.
That's an inside thought. I went, that's fair.
She says, my mom says that to me a lot.
Little Lola giving Shelley the lessons.
She said that to her teacher, too.
She did?
Yeah.
Oh,
her teacher said, her teacher's been...
Was she okay with it? Like her teacher was cool?
She's been irritated with the kids saying 6-7,
What even is that?
We just 2 numbers in a row.
Yeah, I don't get it.
But the teacher was like saying something, and the teacher herself said 6-7. And Lola goes, that's an inside thought.
It's actually funny. She's like, your intrusion got you.
Yeah.
She doesn't know how that is. It's bad. But that happens.
She goes, my mom says those are inside thoughts. It's like, thanks, Lord.
No, but it's true. And I think sometimes we have to learn how to work that out internally. And it's not that you say something or don't say something. Neither one is right or wrong. Mm-hmm. It's saying, do I want to say something? See, there's the difference. When we're in a trauma state and we're in survival mode, we don't have options or choices. Our body does what it has to do to protect us. Mm-hmm. The key is I have a choice in whether I want to blow this up or whether I just want to go, I want peace today. Mm-hmm. And it's a choice that you are making instead of your body choosing it for you.
Yeah.
So sometimes it does have to be worked out internally. Sometimes we go home and we get in the car and both my kids are like, telling me all the things they hated or telling me this hurt my feelings or whatever. And we work it out together. And sometimes we say the thing and sometimes we don't.
Yep.
It's not right or wrong.
I think it sometimes is I'm learning all of these things in therapy and I want to share them so that you'll change. Isn't that, ooh.
We all want that. Ooh. We all want that. Mm-hmm. But that's not our job.
No.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not our job. And I think it's okay if you're being asked about things to share whatever you want. Feel free to share. But you got to remember, if it wasn't safe to start with, it may not be safe to share with.
Amen.
Hallelujah. You know?
Yep.
And so you have to decide if that is something that feels safe to you to share. And sometimes it is.
Whoa, let's say that again. If it wasn't safe to start with, it might not be safe to share with.
Ooh, Shelley,
that one's
that's
going
a Shelleyism.
Down in the books.
That's a Shelleyism.
Because it's hard to explain that to people sometimes of like, I know you want that because you want that connection. You want the relationship repaired and you want them to be different with you.
Absolutely. Grow with me.
Yeah, it's not necessarily that you want to change them. It's I want the relationship to be better. Mm-hmm. And so if you learn these things too, it would be better for everybody.
Absolutely.
But you don't get to do that.
Mm-mm. And it doesn't mean that those aren't private conversations sometimes. I mean, sometimes those are private conversations that you need to work through some things. That's fine. Mm-hmm. But I think what happens is people ask us about our lives and we're irritated with them and we don't want to say we're irritated with them. So we punish them with our therapy.
Isn't that the truth? And then you're just over here being hated by a whole family.
Yeah.
Shelley's like, some mothers are like, I hate Shelley Crampton.
I hate that. Oh, yeah. Listen, I bet I come up in rooms. Every family dinner, my name gets brought up.
Well, Shelley said.
And I know,
don't use my name like that.
I did. I actually
don't take my name in vain.
Listen, when I used don't take the name of Shelley in vain. That's terrible.
That might be a little
That was a little sacrilegious, I think. I actually didn't mind it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, I guarantee you that happens though. And I've had to talk to couples about that at times. Please don't weaponize therapy. I don't care if you weaponize me because I don't care, but whatever. Yeah. But don't weaponize therapy because what happens in that is then they start to despise therapy, not you.
And then they ain't ever going.
No.
They probably weren't going to begin with.
No.
They probably hadn't even crossed their minds.
No.
But
I come up in circumstances.
Yeah.
Shelley told me. And sometimes I didn't tell them anything.
You're like, actually, I can't tell you anything.
Yeah, story time. I got a story. Yeah. So I was sitting in the car with Holden, my son, a while back. And he's telling me all these things. And I always had these mothers who would come to me and they would say, "You are so strict with Holden." And I was always kind of like, huh?
Yeah.
Like I wasn't at all. I mean, we had a very flexible relationship. He didn't give me much reason not to, trust him and whatever. But I would be like, oh, I didn't think I was that strict. Well, you won't let him go here and you won't I said, I didn't even know anything about those things. And so I didn't say much because I would always be like, maybe, I don't know. So it came out what was happening recently. Holden, and it's okay. I actually am fine with them using me for this purpose. But Holden came to me and was like, well, truthfully, anytime I didn't want to do anything or go anywhere, I'd say you wouldn't let me.
Yep.
Constantly.
I mean, I'm glad he felt like he could use you as a scapegoat.
He did.
But it was probably like my mom said I couldn't do homework.
Yeah. Seriously, it probably wasn't anything important. My mom said, it is not healthy for me to. I'm like, whoa,
I
buddy.
can't eat your meatloaf. My mom said I can't.
My mom said, you have to fix me my own dinner. I go, what? Oh, no, but it was a lot of things he just didn't want to go do.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't super social back then. And so he would be like, no. And so all these mothers thought I was like this real, very like, oh, my mom would never let me ride in a car with so-and-so. I'd be like, I didn't even know that was an option. You know what I mean?
Like, I didn't even know where he was.
I needed you to be picked up, actually. That would have been helpful. You know, but I was laughing, but that is what we do. Sometimes it's okay that Holden did it, but it is what we do is we say, because we aren't brave enough to own it ourselves. And sometimes that's okay. That's what I always say. If you need to use me in your family, fine. I don't care. But don't weaponize therapy.
Yes.
We do tend to do that sometimes. Well, I learned and you should. Ooh, when people start that, I'm like, ooh.
My therapist said that you can't talk to me like that.
Girl, I did not say that.
It probably was more like, when somebody's speaking to you like that, what does that do inside of you? Maybe you should leave.
Yeah.
But hey, use your therapist how you want, but don't weaponize therapy.
That's how I feel. Yeah. Because I think it's important that they know that can be safe for them at some point too, if they want to do those things.
Yeah.
And they're not going to feel that way if they feel like all that's happening is blame in the therapy session.
Yeah.
Now, part of that is just you learning that it isn't about blame anyway.
Nope.
It's about recognizing patterns. Yeah. Something else that's going to come up inevitably. This is not a health. No one's going to like this topic.
What?
Politics.
Oh.
And I'm not going into politics specifically. I'm going into how do we handle those things.
That can be such a big thing in families.
It is. Well, right now, especially, it's very polarized. And so,
well, in my family, I just love to trigger them.
like,
just pick
super
the opposite.
healthy.
I just
Super healthy.
pick the opposite, and I'm like, oh,
I wouldn't do that for sure.
Yeah.
No, I hear you.
Can you believe what's going on over there? Oh my gosh.
You just get them going.
Oh, I do. I love it.
That's funny. I mean, look,
they also get to know me.
Yeah,
so.
they know you're doing that. But I think that's also a sign of a healthy relationship that they know you can.
Yeah.
You know, you can go say things that get them worked up. But I think when it can get very heated right now. We've seen that. And it can get very divisive. It is okay to feel however you need to feel. And it is okay to say whatever you want to say. But you also choose what comes with that. So you have to decide what is more important to you in that moment. I don't think there's a right or a wrong, again, about talking about it or not talking about it. People say, oh, you shouldn't talk about it. You should. I don't know that that's true. I think we have become a society that avoids conflict at all costs, and we can't talk about anything.
Gosh, no. And we were going to do a separate podcast about politics. And we're probably need to wrap this one up because we're running out of time.
Because it's definitely going to come down to that for sure.
Yeah. So let's do another one.
Grief and politics.
Grief and politics. All right.
All right.
Join us next week for part 2 of Families, Holidays, Politics, and Grief.